Well, hello and welcome to VOP This Morning. My name is Moses Humphrey. Today we will serve you the latest of all that you need to know from the day 2 of the Presidential Election Petitions Court as it went down yesterday. Well, surely you can trust VOP TV's continuing coverage of the process to stay updated with everything you need to know. Plus, NDLEA had to fight its way in a 30-minute gun battle with armed drug escorts in Lekki. Well, we'll also talk about that one on the show today. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV, and on Instagram, we are VOP TV Live.
Now, the Presidential Election Petition Court in Abuja on Tuesday ordered the All Progressives Congress and its presidential candidate Bola Tinubu to file their responses to all pending applications in the case instituted by the Allied People's Movement, APM. Now, Nigeria's Electoral Commission, INEC, declared Mr. Tinubu winner of the 25th of February election. But the APM, among other opposition political parties with their presidential candidates, is urging the court to nullify Mr. Tinubu's victory on account of his non-qualification as a candidate of the APC. Now, at the pre-hearing session of the court on Tuesday, after taking submissions from lawyers to parties in the APM's petition, a 5-member panel of the court, led by Haruna Samani, ordered all parties to file their responses to all pending applications before the next hearing date. Mr. Samani adjourned the petition until Thursday for continuation of the pre-hearing session. But the APM, among other opposition political parties with their presidential candidates, is urging the court to nullify Mr. Tinubu's victory on account of his non-qualification as a candidate of the APC. Now, at a pre-hearing session of the court on Tuesday, after taking submissions from lawyers to parties in the APM's petition, a 5-member panel of the court, led by Haruna Samani, ordered all the parties to file their responses to all pending applications before the next hearing date. Mr. Samani adjourned the petition until Thursday for continuation of the pre-hearing session. Lawyer submissions on Tuesday, APM's lawyer Oyetola Atoyebi, a senior advocate of Nigeria, informed the court that his client had responded to questions bordering on the pre-hearing session. Our next lawyer, Abubakar Mahmoud, a senior advocate of Nigeria, said the commission on the 5th of May filed its responses to the pre-hearing questions. Also, Lateef Fagbemi, a senior advocate of Nigeria who represents the APC, and Akin Olujimi, another representing the Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima, and Mr. Tinubu, both said they have responded to the preliminary questions raised by the court. Similarly, Yomi Aliyu, lawyer to Kabiru Masari, who was Mr. Tinubu's running mate, said his client filed responses to the pre-hearing questions on the 3rd of May. Now, in order for us to understand exponentially what we are talking about this morning, we will be joined virtually by Murphy Abaduni. Murphy, good morning and welcome to VOP This Morning.
My pleasure.
All right. Now, Murphy, we kind of are following what's currently going on at the Election Petition Tribunal. And now the court is asking the APC to respond to most of the petitions that are being filed against them. What's your take on that?
Thank you very much. First of all, like I said in our previous program on your station, that the Election Tribunal has actually started on a very good note. And even when I watched their proceedings yesterday before the adjournment, I think so far they've not done very badly. I must give it to them. I don't think that any of the respondents, especially the APC and its candidate, the president-elect, needs the reminder of the court or the tribunal to actually respond to any of the petitions against the APC as a party, against their presidential candidate, and against the vice presidential candidate. And by extension, Masari, who was Tinubu's running mate before eventually Shettima became the running mate to the president-elect. And in their response yesterday to the tribunal, their lawyers, they made it clear to their lawyers that they responded to pre-election, pre-hearing petitions accordingly. So I am hoping that by the time the court sits next, in their next sitting, I believe by then, whatever that was got missing, whatever that was that needed to be done that has not been done, would have been done by all parties. And even in the tribunal, all parties were properly advised to ensure that they do away with those issues that would waste the time of the court, meaning that they should be explicit in the issues they are objecting to and the ones they are not objecting to. So let's see how it goes from there. Let's see how it goes. But I'm very hopeful that the tribunal is going to do a good job.
All right, but what does actually the APM mean by saying that the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they're asking that, the tribunal should nullify his victory over his non-qualification as a candidate of the APC? What parameters are they filing that? As in what aspect was he not qualified, to run on the platform of the All Progressives Congress?
Well, according to the petitioner, the APM, they are alleging that the president-elect was not qualified as a candidate of the All Progressive Congress to contest the election as their presidential candidate. And one of the reasons, or the major reasons that they have given, was that prior to the election, that the president-elect had a man in the name of Masari as a running mate, while the current vice president-elect in the name of Shetima,
yes,
was also at the same time standing as a senatorial aspirant of the same party. If you remember, prior to the election, there were a lot of these issues about the first time that semantics, that word became very popular in our political atmosphere. You hear them, for example, telling us about what they call it, hold again, and it became common among the political parties. You pick somebody you nominate somebody as either as a candidate or as a deputy candidate, depending when you are sure of exactly whom the party and the candidate is going to use for such position for the election. So the APM is saying that after the time Masari was no longer the vice presidential candidate, that at that moment, in their petitions, I'm quoting their petitions, but as at that moment, the president-elect, Dr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, also ceased to be the candidate of the APC, based on the fact that it's a joint ticket. It's a ticket for the presidential candidate and the vice president. So they are claiming in their petitions that the moment the vice presidential candidate, the alleged vice presidential candidate, is no longer eligible to contest the election, and it is a joint ticket, that's the moment Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu has also ceased to be the party's presidential candidate. I think it looks like a good case.
Okay.
But like I will always say, we need to wait for the tribunal to look at these issues deeply from the legal perspective and give us a final verdict on all of this. But that is their case so far. That is their case. That's the case for the APM.
All right, Murphy, why do we wait for the tribunal to give us a final verdict? What do you make of APM's stance that APM is not even fighting for its own presidential candidate? They are basically fighting for the presidential candidate of the PDP. Now, are we going to see some alliances come forward as the tribunal progresses? Will some minor parties, I use the word minor loosely, join with other major parties, to team up against the APC. Should we expect that?
Yes, and yes. And reasons are not perfect. Like you said, there are minor parties. No matter how hard it may sound, there are smaller parties. Even before and during the elections, you see Nigerians loosely use this word, like they tell you the three major political parties. Sometimes some people will just tell you straight up, we have three political parties in Nigeria, which is the PDP, the APC, and the Labour Party that later came. These other minor parties in quotes are most likely, don't forget that the president-elect is of the APC, that is also a ruling party. And the major aim of major political parties is to unfix the ruling party. That is the major aim of any political party in any political system, is to unfix the ruling party. So some of them, for some reasons, whether financial reasons, so many of them, they don't have the spread, they don't have what it takes to have a stronghold nationwide. They even have that support nationwide. They became what it is, like we call them smaller parties. So at this point, it will be strange to see such political parties trying to merge with major oppositions. And as it is today, we have two major oppositions, which is the Labour Party and the PDP. So we're going to see more of these smaller parties try to join with these major oppositions to take their legal battle forward. It's not strange, it's expected, and I'm expecting more of those smaller parties, so to say, to do so.
Do you also think, Mr. Murphy, that, like Moses asked you about the supposed minority parties, is it possible they could be induced to drop their cases or to drop their petition?
I didn't get you clearly. Please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I said, is it possible that is other parties, that is the other minority parties that have issues with how the elections were conducted and have their petitions at the tribunal? Do you think there's a possibility that they could be induced financially to drop their petitions, so that either they drop the petitions or they continue to drag the case until May 29 inauguration commences, and possibly the stipulated time for whatever case that the election petition tribunal, elapses, and then before would I say a lot of persons would have gotten tired with the continuation of the process? Do you think there's a possibility of such a maneuvering taking place in that aspect?
Thank you very much. First of all, with politicians, anything is possible. Records have shown that with Nigerian politicians, anything is possible. But at the same time, too, I don't want to think that the ruling party and the president-elect and their legal team, so to say, is so much bothered about these other political parties that have come up with several petitions. I know for a fact that the president-elect and their party is more concerned with the petitions coming from the People's Democratic Party, the PDP and Atiku, and the petitions coming from the Labour Party. So there may not be so much effort. There may not be so much effort. Don't forget I said with politicians anything is possible, though. But there may not be so much effort in trying to induce or lobby or whatever terminology that we use to actually have anything to do with these smaller political parties. Because like I said, they may have some case, some of them have one or two cases, but in the real sense of it, some of them do not have what it takes to win election nationally. And that is why the major issues are always been with the Labour Party, the PDP, and the AP. So I'm saying in a nutshell that the ruling party, the president-elect, is little or less concerned about these other smaller political parties. The major problem is the PDP and the Labour Party. So the smaller parties, I'm not finding it comfortable using this word. Actually, the reasons of it, there's no smaller party because they are all registered by INEC and they all have equal stake anyway. They are all at, but from what it is, if we have to call a spade without overspading the spade, they are just smaller parties trying to grow. So the best option is what some of them are already doing, which is to align with the major opposition to push their cases further. And that is what we are saying today.
All right, so the APM in its petition is urging the court to void all the votes scored by Mr. Tinubu in the presidential election in view of his non-qualification as a candidate of the APC. However, the party wants the court to declare the presidential candidate of a rival party, that's the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, who is also pursuing his separate petition as the winner of the election. Is it possible to just have that? They are saying that Atiku Abubakar should be declared as winner of the election, and that they're also urging the court to void all the votes scored. Is it possible for that to actually happen now?
Well, these are matters already before the tribunal, and these are not matters for us to actually go into in detail because they are before the court. And until the court makes a pronouncement, we are not allowed to express personal opinions on these issues. But however, I think they've submitted their petitions. Like I told you earlier, that some of them does not have what it takes to win elections, and some of them didn't go into the elections to win. But like I said too, there are also political parties that are trying to grow. If you look at their petition from what you have read so far, they are not asking the petition to declare them the winner. The tribunal, sorry. They are not asking the tribunal to declare them the winner of the election. They are not saying that they've scored majority of the votes anywhere. They are not even telling you the amount of votes they've gotten from Nigerians because they know that would not make any sense to anybody. Rather, what they are simply saying is that the president-elect, the man INEC has declared the winner of the 2023 election, should be, that election should be nullified because he didn't win, and that the man who came second, who is Atiku Abubakar, at this point too, we need to make it very clear too that the PDP and the candidate, Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former, is the man who came second in this race, and not the Labour Party. Because of our viewers, we need to also restate this. Because the way it looks out there, the atmosphere is looking like Peter Obi came second. No, he didn't came second, he came third. So the FPM is saying that Tinubu should be disqualified, and that Atiku Abubakar, the PDP, should be declared the winner. So, like I will always say, these are issues before the court. Let's see what the court is going to make out of all this, and we'll take it up from there.
All right, thank you very much, Murphy Abadoni, legal practitioner. Truly, these are issues before the court, and we are just, keeping abreast with proceedings, and we'll surely keep our viewers, keep them in the know of how the proceedings continue at the Election Petitions Tribunal. I must say a very big thank you to you for coming on the program today.
Thank you very much.
Now, the battle to rid Nigeria of illicit drugs continues, and the NDLEA is having a tough one. Gun battles raging in some parts of Lagos. Well, that conversation comes up next.